Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the final episode of Let's Play Super Mario Bros. 3. This is World 8. This is the end of the worlds. As you can see, this episode is definitely a little bit different than the rest of the episodes in this series. For some reason, my audio got corrupted for the world as a whole. So what we'll be doing is in like the first 8 minutes or so of this video, we'll be playing some of the streaming music that I normally play when I'm playing through all this stuff. And then in the later parts of the episode, we'll be playing the actual gameplay audio. I apologize about that in advance. If you want to hear Super Mario Bros. 3 music, please feel free to skip to like the 8:30 mark, like 8 minutes and 30 seconds. That's about where it picks up and gets back into actual Super Mario Bros. 3 audio. But for now, we just have to deal with listening to my streaming music. Here is a soda pop opening up. Like I said, I did not plan to have audio issues, especially this late in the game. And I was recording so many things at once that I think it caused a problem. But as you can see here, this world is ungodly. It's not fair in any regard. Luckily, the level coming up after this level is not as bad because there's a little bit of a gimmick to it. There's a little bit of a gimmick to a lot of these levels. They made them so complex that they forgot about like the bare minimum, which is, it's nice in our Let's Play because we could just breeze through certain ones, and then other ones take 20 to 30 minutes at a time. But hopefully you all understand that, and hopefully that's not something that deters you from watching the rest of the episode, knowing that the first 8 minutes or so are going to have this kind of audio. This is actually it. I found somebody a long time ago when I started streaming who was streaming like full albums that you could use on a stream and didn't care about the copyright claim. So it's cool if you wanted to use that. Please feel free to let me know in the comment section down below. I could definitely link the playlist on Spotify, or and the dog's having a fun time there. I could definitely link the playlist on Spotify, or I could definitely like just send a direct link to what the playlist should look like. Looks like we left one death in there. Man, the dog's really having fun. I really wish she wasn't, because that's even more hosing up the audio. You know, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? It's one of those situations. But in this world, you can see the gimmick is if we could float high enough that we stay below the ship, but not enough that we go down below the actual level of the world, we could just float our way to the end of the level. Which, if it was actually recording the audio like it was supposed to, you would hear the A button being hit a whole ton of times right now, just like do 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 do. But yeah, like I said, that's just not. The audio was corrupted when I downloaded it. It sounded horrible, to be quite frank with you. And now she's squealing a little pig toy. But yeah, like I said, that will only really exist for this first little section of it. You can see you're much better off going down and then coming back up to fight the boss, even though it takes me quite a few attempts here, which kills a lot of my time. Give me a second here. It takes a lot of my time, but I feel like I just got like a rebel yell back from the puppy here. But even though it does take quite a lot of time to do that, it's definitely far worth it in the end, because just dealing with all that stuff in the above world becomes such a nonsense. And sorry about like I have to imagine the dog is making noise at this point. She is just going nuts. And I don't know why. I think it's because, like, normally this is the time we go to bed here late in the night. But she's going nuts. There you can see we override that data. And just for some context there, the dog underwent some surgery. If you stuck along this far in the video, leave a thumbs up just for that. Hopefully the doggo gets well here. You could even feel free to send a good old feel-good doggo message if you felt like it. But I wanted to incorporate some of this back stuff inside of the episode so you could see like the actual attempts it took were not like a short. It wasn't like I just magically made this episode and started doing really good at Super Mario Brothers. I really wanted to hammer that point home that a lot of these episodes are a lot harder than they look on the face. And what happened in these episodes was I just ended up getting lucky and making it through them. So let's just try to progress here. We can progress all the way through, but we really want to get all the lives we can out of these episodes. Now this one here is a little bit easier because it's just dodging fireballs and how good are your reflexes at the game. And like I said, hopefully the dog, Jesus, she is really running up a storm, man. She's crazy. Like I said, she just got out of surgery a little bit ago. Definitely still nuts. Definitely still has all that tons of energy. So it's really hard to contain her. It's been really challenging to make any videos this week at all. That's why I didn't think I was going to be able to beat this world in general, because with her running like a nut, I knew it was going to be a problem. But hopefully it's not so much of a problem that you would say, oh, I hated this episode. But yeah, I wanted to include this first little bit because, like I said, I definitely got better at the episodes as it went, and I really wanted to include that just to show that, like, even if you're Mini Mario, even if you're struggling a lot throughout these episodes, you could definitely still beat them. And not only beat them, but actually come out with like a really good result, which we'll see here moving forward. I wish we didn't have crazy dog noises throughout that, but it looks like we might. So let's go on over here. And right around here is where we should start finishing up these 3 levels. These are really like, as long as you have enough lives saved up, these are levels where like you could pick and choose if you want to do them, because there's not going to be any hazard in skipping them. You could lose and then just progress. It's not going to hurt you for doing so, but you won't get the extra power-ups. So if you have stored power-ups and you don't really need them, I wouldn't go and get them myself, but in this case, I don't have any stored power-ups, and I know they all give you the raccoon tail, and the raccoon tail is very valuable at this point in the game, so I'd much rather get the raccoon tail and deal with that than try to put up with any of the crap. And if any of the audio here is a little bit odd, I apologize in advance. My screen keeps cutting out for whatever reason. It really doesn't like me running this on the PC and trying to record my audio at the same time. But out of those 3 worlds, if you have the option to skip any of them and you have some power-ups saved, this is the one I would skip. This one is brutal. You'd see there's just fish flying all over the place. I really wish I had the audio because it sounds ridiculous when they're just tackling you at every angle. And it's not an overly long level, it's not an overly hard level, but like unless you have that path memorized, you could struggle a lot. But the actual audio here for Super Mario Bros. 3 should be starting up shortly. I believe that's right at the what is that? Maybe the 9-minute mark. So that's very nice. Like I said, it kind of stunk that we ran into that, especially this late in the game, but it's part of what you have to deal with. So let's jump into this world. You can see I got the star power and the raccoon tail on. This is why it was so vital to get the raccoon tails, because they come up a lot in the end of the game. You definitely need raccoon tails to make it through the end of the game, if not P-Wings. I mean, P-Wings would be so much better, so we could just fly through this whole episode without having to dodge any of this bullcrap, but it becomes so challenging here at the end, where like all these moves are down to like you need to make the right move at the right time, and if you don't make said move, you're hosed. Even there, like I thought I was gonna lose this episode because I lost my raccoon tail, and it just becomes extremely challenging, like to move forward in any regard. It's so hard. And then of course every level in this world ends with a mini boss or somebody throwing boomerangs at you or something like that. Like there's no just like you run up and you grab the star up until this next point that's coming up here. So it's very challenging to like even progress at this level if you're not experienced with that at this point, which I mean it's World 8, you should be. You know, you should be able to handle it. You can see it's blanked out here. We use our raccoon tail, and the goal here is to get the P-Wing going. We need to get him going, because up here, like I said, there's a whole lot of gimmicks surrounding the P-Wing that you could use in this world. And in this one, we can fly down this tube up the top, hit this guy. We'll end up getting some 1-ups that come out of him. And then this is extremely difficult to pull off. I will warn you ahead of time. But if you could pull it off, you run down here and you get the P going all the way. That P needs to be like in full blast when you go through this tube, otherwise it's not going to work. And then just continuously press A as soon as you come out. It's vital. It's like milliseconds that you have that could work, because I did that like 8 or 9 times and it didn't work. But if you do that, you'll end up coming out right at the end of the level and you're golden. You can just shoot through that level as a whole. So as long as you can pull that off, it's extremely difficult, like your first couple times around, but it's possible. This one's a little bit easier. You just jump right into the world. You go down this little landslide here of sand, which in any other case would kill you, but in here brings you to a pipe. Go down the pipe. I have the P-Wing. As you can see, I just float down. I try to get more of the coins than I'm allotted. And the goal here is to get the P-Wing going once again. We got it going. And now just fly up through the rest of this world as well. But we want to take it down because we want to go over this ledge, because that ledge is pretty big and you can't really hop it without stepping on like the perfect steps going through the end of this world. So you really want to get that and jump through and finish up the world. Now we have the castle. The castle's hard. What I'm showing here is attempt about 500. There are many ways to beat this castle. There's doors going all over the place that you can exploit and go through and find your best path through the castle. What I'm showing here works. It may not be perfect for you. It worked for me, but it's very like, it depends on what your strengths are in the game. That's what I would say. Is like there are certain doors that lead to certain paths that lead to certain strengths in how you actually play the game. And for me, this was the best path through this level. For you, this might seem like it's a little illogical. Like you wouldn't take this route, but it's extremely difficult on the whole. And these P boxes, you definitely have to pay attention to them throughout this world. But yeah, like I said, it's one of those worlds where like or one of those levels where there's like 90 paths to beating it. So I don't want to prescribe this to anybody and say like this is the best route, because this definitely is not the best route. But at the same point in time, like, this was the best route for myself playing through it. So even though something might work better for you, this was the best playthrough for my play style. I think that's the simplest way to put it. Like I said, there's like 900 ways to get to the end of this world. But the end result is you need to hit that P there, and you need to jump through this door here, and that'll take you to the boss. You need to duck down if you have any power-ups. If you're Mini Mario, you'll scale through just fine, but otherwise you need to duck down so you don't hit any of those. And then the mini boss is going to be right here at the end. Oddly enough, with the scaling trying to take you over there, because we're on like the little treadmill things, it tends to be a little bit easier for myself, and maybe that's because I trail backwards anytime I jump, but it could just be that. Here we're jumping into the very last world before Bowser. It's difficult, especially because I don't want to use my last P-Wing, because I know I'm going to need it for Bowser, or my last Raccoon Tail. So it definitely adds a level of complexity going through here with just like the regular Mario level. But it's one thing that I've stressed time and time again, that like these airship levels, or whatever you want to call them, throughout the series have been complex but fair. Like, if you learn them, you can get through them. There's not a whole lot of like nonsense that exists in them that makes them so unfair that an average player can't beat them. Whereas some of the other levels really take like a deep understanding of how Mario works, which is just not a fair concept, I feel, to throw at the player. But this one is relatively fair. You can get through it in a little bit of time. Of course, you have to beat your mini boss because it's the end of the series. You have to beat him. And there we go. We beat the final mini boss. Now we proceed into the end of the game. And this is really hard. The only way to get through it is with the tail. I'm convinced. I remember when I was younger, I beat it as Mini Mario, and I don't know how I did it. I really do not know how. So you have to jump over there, fly through that, then come down here. Then you have to be able to fly up through this. There's a one-up in the very top right there that I just passed that you can get. It wasn't worth me getting it because the risk is bad. And then that fireball is coming down, so you can't go straight across. You have to kind of take this bridge like I did across it. And that's not a big deal. Normally you can land on the one above it, but it's okay where we landed because we'll get a one-up later. You have to come through here. This is the absolute only way to come. If you come through any other door on this level, it'll take you back to the very first level. So be very just be very aware of that. Once you come through here, you're in pretty good territory. You're about to approach Bowser. So you have to come through here and nail these jumps. And I would say the key to these jumps is, you can see I screwed it up there. You just have to trust in your jump. And then jump once more once you land on the platform. And you'll be pretty solid all the way through. But then you'll get to face the big baddie. Here he is, Bowser himself. And you try to get him to land on the middle section there as far as possible. You could use this upper leverage here, but just know he spits twice and then you have to run. I lightly forgot that here. And even if you're mini, if you're trying to get him to jump on anything down below, he's going to land like where you're perceived to land. So you have to pay attention to that. Because it could really screw you. Like, it's very easy to screw you in. These fireballs are inconsistent on where they actually land. You'd see there, like, yeah, it's looking at where it's basing I'm going to run based off of his last impact versus where I'm standing now. Which is why I get him to fall through that, because I jump up and to the right and then back to the left at the last second. That's the end of the game, ladies and gentlemen. We beat the game. We beat Bowser. He's done. He fell through the hole. He's dead. It's an exciting and unexpected victory. I thought this was going to take me a lot longer. And see, I'm so stunned I don't even know how to get through the door. It automatically transfers you into regular Mario when you come through here, regardless of your power-up or anything like that. Just as a context there. And it says, thank you, but our princess is in another castle. Just kidding. Ha ha ha. Bye bye. What a great, like, middle finger to end the series on. Like a big old, just kidding, pal. If you like this series at all, or enjoy any of the content coming out, please feel free to consider leaving a like, comment, or even subscribing. This was one world that I did not think would be beaten. Sorry, I'm tired. One that I did not think would be beaten in the time allotted. It was extremely challenging, but we made it through. You know, that's all that counts. It shows us a cool little overthrow of all the worlds we played through here. I'm so happy that we beat this, and it should be coming out at 8 a.m. on Sunday or Friday morning. And then Pokemon Legends Arceus should be coming out later tonight, episode 1 of that. So it should be a really cool layup. You know, we're finishing one game, heading into the next. Everything's sticking right on schedule, which I'm super happy of. And then you get to see the good old The End. Now, I did include, if you want to tune out here and you already like, comment, subscribe, and even commented 99 bananas down below for whatever reason, because that would be funny to do, you could head out here. But I did include the first episode just so you could see what happens when you beat the game. So when you beat the game, you could start it up right on the start screen here. And if you click one player, one world, if you already beat it, you'll see you have unlimited P-Wings. So you could just scale through the whole entirety of the game moving forward. And it's cool because it lets you go back and, you know, like, play the levels that you want to play. But if you want to skip through any levels, you have the ability to now skip through them or experience, like here, it would be very hard to get the ability to get the raccoon tail and fly up here. So it's cool to see some of the stuff that's hidden up here. You know, just some of the stuff that's hidden in the level. You see 3 there for Super Mario Bros. 3. There's just a whole bunch of unexplored elements up there, so it's very cool to go and see. But I wanted to include that in the end here. Take it easy, guys. I really love this Let's Play, and I look forward to the next one with all of you.